All right, diving in. Welcome to the deep dive. We're all about taking those sources you're interested in and really getting to the heart of them, extracting those golden nuggets of knowledge without making you feel like you're drowning in information.
Yeah, no information overload here.
So you, our awesome listener, the learner, you sent in some really interesting stuff this time, and we've got a clear mission today. We're going deep, deep into Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad excerpts, of course.
Excerpts, yeah.
This is like your fast track, your cheat sheet to understanding the big ideas, the surprising bits, and those totally contrasting philosophies about, well, money, financial education, and how to actually build wealth, all from this really influential book.
Absolutely. And what we've got here right from the start is Kiyosaki laying it all out through his own personal experience.
Yeah.
He had these two father figures in his life.
Yeah, two dads.
Two dads, right. And both of them, successful in their careers, but their mindsets about money, totally different, polar opposites. So that's what we're going to dig into today.
Okay, let's break it down. Right off the bat, Kiyosaki introduces us to his poor dad, a super educated guy, PhD and all. And then there's his rich dad, a businessman who didn't even finish 8th grade.
So
Now, what's important to get here is that both of these guys, they weren't like failures, not at all.
no, not at all.
But their beliefs about money, like how to handle it, manage it, grow it, they were just worlds apart.
Worlds apart, yeah. It's like they were speaking different languages. So the poor dad, he really embodied that classic way of thinking, that traditional path. Get a good education, find a secure job with good benefits, work hard, earn your money, security, a steady paycheck. That was everything.
The safe route.
The safe route. And he truly believed that the love of money is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
That idea that wealth, money, it's somehow morally wrong or dangerous.
Yeah, common idea.
Really common. He was also big on saving and, the whole idea that if you work hard all your life, the government will take care of you, kind of a safety net thing.
Gotcha. Then you've got the rich dad. He's playing by a whole different set of rules. His focus, laser focus, was on financial literacy, on really understanding how money works in the real world, and even more importantly, how to make that money work for you, not the other way around.
Exactly. Make it work for you, not you slaving away for it.
Right. He believed in constantly learning, exercising that financial muscle. And for him, saying, I can't afford it, that wasn't just a statement. It was like a sign of mental laziness.
Yeah.
Like shutting down possibilities before they even had a chance.
Closing the door on opportunity.
Exactly. He was all about creating investments, becoming financially self-reliant. And his view was that money is power. It's a tool, something you can use to open doors and create more opportunities.
And these two contrasting viewpoints, they really shaped Kiyosaki's early life, molded his own financial philosophy. One dad emphasizing earning a salary, the other building assets. One leaning towards safety and security, the other risk and reward. And this difference, it's so clear when Kiyosaki talks about his rich dad making a distinction between being broke, which is temporary, and being poor, which in his view was a mindset.
A mindset.
A way of thinking. And for you, the learner, these aren't just some abstract ideas. They represent two totally different ways of approaching your financial life.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. These excerpts, they share some of Kiyosaki's early attempts to make money. The story about the nickel-making scheme, oh, man, that's wild. Young Robert and his friend Mike, they're trying to put these rich dad ideas into action, and they decide to actually, literally, make money nickels. To be precise, out of toothpaste tubes and lead.
Ingenuity, right. Talk about a hands-on approach to understanding currency. They weren't just accepting the economic world around them.
Right.
They were trying to crack the code.
Hacking the system.
Hacking the system, but maybe in a slightly misguided way. They even had this whole system for collecting those used tubes, like a real entrepreneurial little operation.
A mini business.
Yeah.
Until reality sets in.
Until reality sets in.
In the form of Robert's mom. Understandably not so thrilled about this ever-growing mountain of flattened toothpaste tubes. But the real lesson comes when Robert's poor dad finds out about their little venture.
Oh, yeah. The poor dad, with his deep respect for rules and the law, he immediately recognizes what they're doing as counterfeiting, explains the serious consequences, the legal trouble they could be in, and just like that, poof, the boy's nickel-fueled dreams go up in smoke.
Go on. But then you've got Rich Dad. He was there the whole time, knew what was going on, the illegality of it all, but his reaction.
Totally different planet.
He actually praises their creativity, their initiative, tells them not to give up, says, you're only poor if you give up.
Wow.
He saw that entrepreneurial spark in them, either the execution was flawed. Yeah, that's a powerful statement, right? About resilience, about learning by doing. even when you mess up,
Even when it's not legal.
especially when it's not legal.
He really believed in getting out there, trying things, not just sitting around waiting for opportunities to fall into your lap.
Exactly. And this leads to their first job, working for Rich Dad at his store. But the pay,
Oh, the pay.
10 cents an hour.
10 cents?
You can imagine how quickly Robert became disillusioned, right?
Oh, yeah.
Working hard, barely getting anything for it.
Makes sense.
He even threatened to report Rich Dad for child labor violations.
Oh, no.
That quickly fizzled out when Rich Dad reminded him about, well, the whole nickel-making incident.
Oops.
But that feeling of frustration, that was the lesson.
Yeah.
Rich Dad wanted him to experience that, the direct trade of time for money.
Exactly. Trading your hours for a tiny, tiny wage. And Rich Dad uses this moment, this frustration, to highlight something huge about the working world. Taxes.
Taxes.
He explains that as an employee, you're getting taxed on what you earn, on what you spend, even on what you save.
Triple whammy.
And then he contrasts this with how the wealthy often handle taxes differently. And this isn't about breaking the law. It's about understanding the system and using it to your advantage.
Right. So this circles back to Rich Dad's core message.
Yeah.
The problem isn't a lack of money, it's a lack of financial education. He's telling young Robert that just making more money won't magically solve all his problems if he doesn't understand how money actually works.
Absolutely. It's about knowledge, not just the dollar amount.
Okay, and then things take another interesting turn. Rich Dad offers Robert a raise, a big one,
How big are we talking?
$2 an hour. Now, for a kid back then, that's a fortune.
Yeah, that's a lot of candy bars.
Right. And Robert finds himself torn. He wants that money, but he's also starting to get those deeper lessons about work and wealth.
The allure of immediate gratification versus long-term understanding, I think that's a struggle so many of us can relate to no matter our age.
Right. And Rich Dad, he sees this, uses it as a teaching moment. He explains how those powerful emotions, the fear of not having enough and the desire for more, can actually control our thinking.
Keep us trapped in that cycle of working for a paycheck, always chasing that next dollar.
Exactly. And he points out that chasing more money often doesn't address those deeper fears. People think more money will bring security and happiness, but that fear of scarcity, it can stick around, even get worse. You start fearing losing what you've gained.
And it's not just a problem for those struggling to get by. He observed that even wealthy people, they often keep working nonstop, driven by that same ingrained fear, even though they already have more than enough.
It's a mindset thing. So Rich Dad, he shifts the focus away from just working for money to this idea of making money. He even brings up their nickel-making adventure as an example.
Oh, right. The illegal one.
Yeah, the not-so-legal one, but it is about thinking like someone who creates wealth, not just trades hours for dollars. And this leads to the tar baby analogy.
Yes, the tar baby.
So Rich Dad, he uses this story to show how focusing too much on money, on that perceived security of a job, can blind you to real opportunities.
Keep you stuck.
Keep you stuck, right? But once you change your thinking and start looking for those opportunities, they're everywhere. The tar baby represents those distractions, those beliefs that keep you on that hamster wheel of working for someone else, missing out on building your own financial independence.
It's about breaking free.
Breaking free. And then the boys, they launch another venture, a comic book lending library.
Okay, so they're identifying a need.
Yeah, a need for affordable entertainment.
Yeah.
And they try to fill it. They collect those discarding comic books, start charging a small fee to read them. Brilliant.
Pure resourcefulness, right?
Total resourcefulness.
Yeah.
And they even hire Mike's younger sister as the librarian.
Delegation, early management experience.
Early management experience, right. Of course, things don't go perfectly smoothly.
Bullies, right?
Bullies shove them down.
Classic.
But even with the shutdown, that comic book library, it sets the stage for another big lesson, minding your own business. And this doesn't mean ignore your job. It means focus on building your asset column.
Your own wealth-generating machine.
Rich Dad uses Ray Kroc, the McDonald's founder, as an example. He says Kroc was seemingly in the hamburger business, but his real, most valuable business was real estate, the land those McDonald's were sitting on.
That's a powerful distinction, right?
Huge. Your profession is what you do to earn a living, your skill set, your job title. But your business, in Rich Dad's world, is about the assets you own.
The things that put money in your pocket consistently.
Consistently, yeah. And this brings us to, I think, the most important piece of Rich Dad's philosophy, the difference between assets and liabilities.
The foundation of it all.
He defines it so simply, but it's profound. Rich people acquire assets, The poor and middle class acquire liabilities, but they think they're assets.
Mind-blowing, right?
It's so straightforward. But he argues that not getting this is the main reason people struggle financially.
Makes sense.
His definition is clear. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out.
In, out. Simple.
The classic example. Your house. Most people see it as their biggest asset, right?
Their pride and joy.
But Rich Dad says, unless it's generating income, it's likely a liability. Mortgage payments, taxes, upkeep, they all take money out of your pocket.
Constant outflow. This is a big shift for a lot of people because we're always told that owning a home is the ultimate goal.
The American dream.
The American dream. But Rich Dad's cash flow definition makes you rethink what's truly beneficial. So, the learner, think about your own finances. Are there things you thought were assets that are actually costing you money?
Great question. And then to illustrate this difference, he shows the cash flow patterns of the rich, the middle class, and the poor. Someone in the poor category, their income goes right out to cover basic expenses.
Rent, food, necessities. No money left over.
The middle class, they earn more, but their money often goes towards expenses for what they think are assets, like a mortgage.
Or car loans, credit card debt, things that need constant payments.
And the key difference with the wealthy,
Their income is channeled into real assets.
things that generate more income, rent, dividends, business profits. It's a cycle of wealth building.
Money working for them, not the other way around. And the middle class.
They can get stuck in the rat race.
More income often means more expenses, more perceived assets that are actually liabilities. They're on that treadmill,
Always chasing the next raise.
hoping that'll solve everything. And he points out the risks of relying solely on your house going up in value and future pay raises for security.
So this highlights the need for financial literacy.
Being able to read and understand those financial statements.
Rich Dad compares it to reading comprehension. You might be able to read the words on a page, but do you get the meaning?
Same with numbers in a financial report.
Without that literacy, you can't tell an asset from a liability, no matter how much money you make.
It's about understanding the flow, where money comes from, where it goes. So back to minding your own business.
Building that asset column. Rich Dad suggests that early on, you might need your job for income, but your focus should be on acquiring those assets.
Businesses that don't need you there all the time.
Stocks, bonds, mutual funds, real estate, even royalties from things you create.
Making your money work while you sleep.
And then he brings up something that might seem complicated, but is crucial to understanding how the wealthy operator. Corporations.
Ah, yes. Corporations.
He explains how the rich use them to protect assets and manage taxes more effectively.
It's a legal structure, a tool.
He talks about the different cash flow timelines.
Yeah.
An employee earns, spends, then pays taxes.
Right.
Someone with a corporation can potentially earn, cover certain expenses, then pay taxes.
It's about timing. Deductibility can be a huge advantage.
It's important to note that the legal structure you operate within can impact your bottom line. And this all ties into what Rich Dad calls financial IQ.
Financial IQ. Okay.
He breaks it down into 4 areas:
Hmm.
accounting, investing, marketing, and law.
The 4 pillars.
Most people rely on their professional skills, their ability to work hard in their field.
Right. Their 9 to 5 expertise.
But to be truly financially independent, you need those other areas. He uses a great example. A writer might be super talented, but to be a bestseller, they often need to learn about marketing and sales, getting their work out there.
It's the combination that unlocks potential.
But even people with financial literacy can struggle to build assets.
What gets in the way?
Rich Dad lists 5 obstacles: fear of losing money, cynicism, laziness, bad habits, and arrogance.
5 roadblocks. Let's break those down.
Fear can stop you from taking risks, even calculated ones.
Makes sense.
Cynicism blinds you to opportunities.
You don't even see them.
Laziness. He calls it laziness by staying busy. Is procrastination in disguise.
Avoiding those finances.
And bad habits, they sabotage even the best intentions.
They do.
And arrogance, thinking you know it all, stops you from learning.
Closes your mind.
He uses the Remember the Alamo story to show that winners learn from their mistakes.
They don't let failure defeat them.
He says cynicism blocks you from even exploring possibilities. He talks about laziness by staying busy as a way to avoid dealing with your finances. And he emphasizes that our habits have a bigger impact than our education.
Habits trump education.
And finally, he warns against arrogance, that belief that you know everything, which can really shut down your ability to learn and grow.
So how do we overcome these hurdles, these roadblocks?
Rich Dad outlines 10 steps, and the excerpts focus on some really crucial ones. the learner. First, you need a powerful why. Why do you want financial freedom? What's your driving force?
Your motivation, the fuel that keeps you going.
He also stresses investing in your financial education.
Your mind is your greatest asset.
Absolutely. And choose your friends carefully. Learn from those who achieve financial success.
Surround yourself with the right people.
Another step is to master an investment strategy, a formula, and then as you get more comfortable, look for new ones.
Always be learning, adapting.
Right. And then there's pay yourself first. This isn't just saving, it's about prioritizing your future, building financial discipline.
Treat those financial goals like non-negotiable bills.
He also suggests finding good brokers and advisors.
People who can guide you.
He talks about getting something for free by reinvesting profits, recouping your initial investment.
Minimizing your risks.
He says, learn from those you admire, emulate their strategies.
Model success.
And then he talks about the power of giving.
Giving
Your time, money, knowledge. It can open you up to receiving.
Interesting concept.
And most importantly, he says you have to take action. It's not enough to just read about this stuff. You have to go out and do it. Find deals, educate yourself, make offers.
Put those lessons into practice.
And lastly, he talks about thinking bigger, seeing those opportunities that others miss. He tells a story about buying the whole pie of land, not just a slice, to illustrate the power of a wider perspective.
Thinking outside the box.
And he shares a story about a classmate who used money from a mutual fund to buy a rental property,
Smart move.
using financial intelligence to fund both education and retirement.
It's about making those tools work for you.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into these rich dad lessons, the big takeaway is this. Financial independence is more about your financial intelligence than the size of your paycheck.
It's not about how much you make, it's about what you know.
Kiyosaki believes money is an idea, a concept. By changing your mindset, adopting that rich dad perspective, focusing on assets, improving your financial literacy, and making your money work for you, you can change your financial reality.
You have the power to rewrite your financial story.
You, the learner, now understand these contrasting philosophies. Think about which dad mindset is guiding your financial decisions.
Which one resonates with you?
And maybe consider taking one small step today to shift towards that rich dad mentality. Research an investment, analyze your spending, read a book on personal finance. That one action can be the start of something big.
Your journey to financial independence.